Right, so we're going to start with the belly breathing, so the nice calm breathing to help you get into the space and release any tension that you're holding in your body. So come to lie down wherever you're most comfy. So remember, you can always put something underneath your head, you can have your legs bent if you prefer. Make sure you're nice and warm. So you're going to softly close the eyes, you're going to breathe in through the nose and just feel the breath moving more through the back of the nose, back of the body, belly, pelvis, legs, feet, and then exhaling through the mouth. If you're particularly wound up, then breathe out through the nose as well. So breathing in and out through the nose only will take you really quite quickly into a calm nervous system. Breathing out through the mouth will just keep you kind of half in that space of being connected and with it, as well as calm, not overexcited. So breathing in, you're trying to fill through the back of the body, then through the front of the body and down into the legs and into the feet. Have a little pause at the top of the inhale. And when you exhale, can you let something go? So it might be releasing the jaw, relaxing underneath the ears, breathing in. So while you're doing this calm breathing, can you have a little scan and just notice, where is it in my body that feels a little bit tight? Where might I be holding on? What feels maybe a little bit irritated? Take your mind into that spot, breathe into it, create some space and some movement, and then on the exhale, feel that it's shifting, something's moving away, letting go. As you continue to breathe, just feel the bones getting a little bit heavier, so you're not having to hold yourself up here. Release completely towards the floor. Let everything drop into the ground. Now, because this is about pelvic stability and strengthening through the lower back, just now take your mind into the back of the pelvis and around the hips. Are you unnecessarily squeezing your bum or your hips? Breathe a bit of space into that area and then exhale, let it go. So a lot of tension and pain through the lower back can be through too much tightness through the pelvis, not enough strength in the legs and in the belly, and too much tightness through the upper back as well. Okay, so then just gently coming to bend the knees and put the feet flat on the floor. We're going to do the lateral breathing with a ball between the knees. If you don't have a ball, just get a firm pillow, or you could have a yoga block or a thick book. Okay, so we're going to take a belly breath in and then make the long sounding H exhale, sinking, wrapping, drawing inward and upward, then maintaining that connection, taking the lateral inhale, back of the throat, between the shoulders, and on your next exhale, just gently squeezing in on the ball, just slowly. So you don't do it so quick that you suddenly start squeezing around the hips and the bum. Hips and bum relax. Maintain the squeeze for the lateral inhale, and on your next exhale, you can squeeze a little deeper or just maintain the current squeeze that you have. So what you're trying to do here is let your body recognize that you can get into this deep center line. You can engage the inner thigh muscles without having to squeeze the bum, without having to tuck the lower back into the floor either. So keeping the pelvis really neutral. One more, take a lateral inhale. Exhale, feel the feet flat. Sinking, go all the way to the end of the exhale and just check you're not over squeezing your bum or your hips. And then big belly breath in, letting it all go, letting the release happen. Good, we'll try that one more time. Belly breath in. And then exhale, sinking, wrapping, and a gentle squeeze. Good, maintaining the squeeze, maintaining the abs. Inhale, exhale, sinking and squeezing a little bit more. Good. So always with your exhale, the outside of the body is getting baggier and more relaxed, so the skin of the body lets go, and then take the effort into that deep internal center line that goes from the arches of the feet, through the inner thighs, behind the pubic bone, behind the breastbone, deep through the neck, roof of the mouth, crown of the head. So relaxing the outside, connecting the inside. Last one, sinking and squeezing. Then big belly breath in and letting it all go. Nice. Have a little hip roll, do a little hip roll. That's it. And then for this next one, we're going to be pressing outwards. So you can either grab a Dynaband, or I can put links below as to where you can get this band. Or you can use a tie it up, just so there's a bit of, or a yoga strap, just so there's a bit of tension. So we're going to do the same breath pattern, but this time instead of pressing in, we're pressing out. So we're going to take a belly breath in, and then a long, slow exhale to engage, and then gently pushing outward. So what we're aiming for again is to strengthen this neutral pelvis, keep the pelvis still, lateral inhale, that's it. And then as you exhale, you can push more outward, or you can just maintain the press that you have. Good. So how can I press outward without squeezing my bum or my hips? You can rely more through the outside of the legs and through the deep abdominals. Imagine you've also got the strap around the outer hips, so you're kind of pushing from the outer hips as well as the outer knees. You might even be able to feel that you can push from the outer ankles. Just keep the big toes connected. Good, and one more. So abs are wrapping inward, legs are opening outward without any tucking or tension through the front of the hips. And then gently release, belly breath. Nice. This is really good for opening up the back of the sacrum. If you know that you happen to be someone who kind of squeezes into the butt or pushes the pelvis forward. We'll try one more rep. So belly breath. And then exhale, pelvis is steady, pressing out through the outer knees, outer hips. Lateral inhale, back of the throat. And exhale, sinking. Feel the front ribs getting baggier, tops getting baggier. It stays baggy on your inhale. Exhale, feel that you're pushing through the outer hips, outer knees, outer feet, but keep the big toes grounded. One more lateral inhale. And exhale, heavy chest, relax through the chest, take the effort into the belly and the outer legs. And then big belly breath in, release, and you can step out of it. Nicely done. Good. Just stretch one leg out and hug one leg in towards your chest or towards your armpit, just to open up through the hips a little bit. Have a wee wriggle around. That's it. And then you can switch over onto the other side. So lengthening out through the hip. And if you're quite flexible like Hannah, you can aim the knee more towards the armpit once it comes quite closely in. That's it. And then just release it gently down. Good. Okay, so bending the knees and putting the feet flat, interlocking the fingers, hands behind the head. So we're going to keep the head on the ground to begin with. You're going to take your belly breath in, and then as you exhale, you're going to engage. Feel the front ribs down, especially with the arms back here. So we're opening up the thoracic spine, the upper spine a little bit. That's it, keep the abs engaged. So we're going to stay here in this setup. And what we're going to slowly do on each exhale is just lift one foot a tiny bit away from the floor, taking it down, and then the other one. Now the aim is to try and float each foot away from the floor without any wriggling from side to side through the pelvis. So can you use all that deep core engagement to keep really steady through the pelvis? Front ribs stay flat and heavy the whole time. So the foot that stays on the floor, really push that into the floor. Use the inner thigh of the leg that's on the floor. That will stabilize you. So pushing through the foot, inner thigh, and then it goes across to the opposite abdominals. That's what's going to support you. So push through the foot, inner thigh, opposite abs, pelvis staying solid. Keep the same thing happening. Just curl your upper body into a forward bend. That's it. And you just stay in a forward bend. And now you can really see solid, heavy pelvis. Stand through the foot on the floor. With the thoracic spine, you're trying to lift the elbows up towards the ceiling so the shoulder blades spread further apart. So we're getting flexion through the mid-thoracic and not just over-flexing the neck. Good, one more on each side. Standing through the foot, heavy through the pelvis. Good. And last one, keep the elbows up, sinking, sinking, sinking. Very nice. Foot down, relax the arms down. Good, have a little wriggle around. Do whatever you need to do. Come back into some deep, long breaths, relaxing the jaw. Good. Okay, so we're going to roll onto all fours. We're going to hold a neutral spine. So here, being on all fours, what we're looking for is to bring some strength and stability to your pelvis, particularly. So it's really easy to either collapse here, so if you show me that, to sort of sink and the abs are spilling, or sometimes you can over-tuck. So can you try and find somewhere in between? Try and mimic exactly where you were when you're on your back right then. Okay, so it almost feels a bit like you've got a double chin, so the back of the neck is long. Remember, you want to use the front of the throat. That's part of the abdominal tissue. Arms are spiraling and wrapping in. That's it. We're going to tuck the toes under. That's it. Take a belly breath, and then as you exhale, feel the abdominals wrapping and lifting. Now push the hands into the floor, but feel like everything else is trying to come off the floor. Lateral breath, and on your next exhale, you're going to float the knees a few inches away from the floor. And feel like you're pulling your knees up into your abdominals. Then all you're going to do is take the knees down a little bit and up a little bit. Down a little bit and up a little bit. Good. Now keep the breastbone moving forward. That's it. Chest forward, abs up. Good. So we're really wanting to strengthen these muscles either side of the spine, deep through the abs and through the back. A couple more. Up a little bit, down a little bit, up, down, and then just release. Sit back into child pose. Have a little breather. Nice. Again, just relax the eyes, the jaw, take some deep breaths. Good. And then just gently coming back to all fours. Spiraling the arms in, same idea. That's it. In the nice neutral spine, engaging the abdominals to hold the neutral. Then we're going to extend one leg back behind you, keeping the toes on the floor. Now the tendency here is to shift everything over onto your supporting hip. So what you can imagine is that the leg that's extending, imagine my hand at the side of your hip there and try and push into my hand. So it means you're going to be loading a lot more through this upper body on the side of the leg that's lifted. That's it. Good. On your next exhale, gently float that leg up towards the ceiling. And hold it there, and just run through the cues. It's just a static position here. Breastbone lifts, hands are stuck to the floor, everything else trying to lift up. Keep this hip reaching into my hand. That's it. Good. Feel the back of the leg working. Think more about trying to stretch the leg further back behind you rather than trying to take it high. And then release the leg down, and then we're going to switch over to the other side. So staying nice and stable, front ribs wrapping, lower belly in and up. Really quietly stretch that other leg back without shifting the weight over to the supporting side. That's it. Good. So keep this leg that's extended, that hip moving to the side, and then gently float the leg up. So feel the back of the leg lifting the leg, and nothing is compromised through the torso. So it's really easy for the lower back to stick, to arch here. So keep the lower belly drawing in and up so you're not dipping that lower back. Really be working a lot through the side of this arm of the leg that's lifted. So it's that whole oblique side. Good. Then gently take the leg down. Good. Release back into child pose. Relax, breathe. Good. And then gently coming up. So So we're going to stretch through the glutes. So the choice is to either come into a pigeon pose, so into this position, that's it. Or if that's too intense, you can lie on your back and do the figure 4 stretch, lying on your back. The other option is to take the spiky ball lying on your back and massage into the glutes there, okay? So if we're in pigeon, what you're looking for is to keep the hips nice and square. You're stretching through the front of the hip of the leg that's extended, and then the glutes on the side of the leg that's bent. And now the main thing when you do, whatever variation you're doing, when you're trying to take yourself into a stretch deeper, you've got to use your breath, okay? So use your exhale to let go, to release deeper into what you're feeling. You also want to try and connect with what's the purpose. So try to let your mind stay inward on what you're feeling rather than escaping into thoughts. If you're holding a static stretch like this one, you don't hold it for any more than 60 seconds. If you want to be here for longer than 60 seconds, you have to make it a bit more dynamic. So you'd be wriggling in and out, you'd be coming up and down. It's just the brain won't remember the length of the tissues after 60 seconds, so it can be kind of unsafe. Good, and then just gently bring yourselves away from the stretch or the release you're doing and switch over to the other side. Good. That's it. So this back leg has a tendency to go out to the side, so just if in doubt, take it into your center a bit more. And again, use the breath. So it's belly breathing. Filling the space that you're feeling with a stretch, using the exhale to release the tissues. So you could imagine breathing more oxygen, breathing more blood to that part of the body. Keep your mind attached to what you're trying to achieve. Use your breath to sink deeper. That's it. And just checking nowhere else is tensing to help you out. So jaw, eyes, shoulders. Yeah, and if it feels good to wriggle and release into it, then do that. Only you know what feels best in your body. So be guided by what feels good. Okay, and then just gently, slowly taking yourselves out of that. That's it. Just sitting back on the tops of the feet just to balance out a little bit. You might want to kind of go into flexion and extension. That's it. And while we're here in this seated position, if you're happy to sit on the front of your ankles, you can stay here, or you can go cross-legged. But we're going to go into the rhomboid stretch. So you cross one arm on top of the other. If you can get the palms touching each other, great. If not, back of the hand to back of the hand. Okay, and what you're doing here is feeling the shoulders dropping versus the hands coming forward and up on a diagonal. So it's kind of like the hands are trying to drive forward and up, but the shoulders won't let them. If you want to increase it further, you can also push the forearms into each other. And then we're going to gently go into a flexion. So you curve your back and you feel your breastbone moving away from your elbows. And then you release it back up. Breathe in. Exhale. Press the forearms in towards each other as the breastbone moves away from the elbows. And release. One more time. Exhale. Release, come back into that center, and then just try a little reaching up and down. Again, maybe side to side, just what feels good on your body to do. Have a little wriggle around. What you're really aiming for is to feel some stretch and movement around between the shoulder blades, maybe around the top of the arms. And then you gently untwist. Have a wriggle, and then we switch to the other side. So arm on top of arm, that's it. Shoulders down versus hands forward and up on a diagonal. And gently pressing the forearms into each other if you feel like you need more stretch, okay? And then gently going into a flexion and then up into an extension. Good. And so just keep tuning into what feels good for you. The main thing with the stretch in terms of the sensation is that it doesn't become too intense. As soon as it gets more than 7 out of 10 in terms of discomfort, your body will just be holding on because it's scary for it. You want to release, relax, go slowly into it. Yep, and then just having a wriggle around, feeling what feels good to do. And then just releasing, rolling through the shoulders. Okay, last stretch, we're just going to gently come up and you're going to find a wall or a bench. You're going to have your hand against the wall or on the bench here. Legs are glued together. You're going to take the one arm out to the side. Now, first of all here, just feel energetically reaching the hands away from each other. So stretch through the fingers. It's kind of like you're trying to pull the breastbone open side to side and the shoulder blades too. And then taking the arm up, this might be enough already for people, especially if your lower back's a bit tender. Just stay here and breathe into it. If it feels okay, you're going to move up and over into the stretch. Good. So dropping both shoulders, melting the shoulders, feel the lower belly drawing in and up, and still have a sense of pressing the hand into the wall or into the bench and reaching the other one away. Turn the head towards the ground if it feels more comfy, or you can look up towards the hand and then gently come back up. Hold it here, then this arm is going to move backward and you're just opening through the chest a little bit. Again, if it feels okay, keep the abdominals connected so that your back feels supported. So you're just opening through the chest, then coming back, releasing down, and then we'll change sides. That's it. So shoulder is dropping down. So the hand that's on the wall or on that bench, that elbow drops towards the floor, and that just means the shoulder isn't going to be lifted. Take the arm up, and first of all, just energetically feel them splitting away from each other. So reaching the hands away, broadening the shoulder blades, the breastbone. And then if it feels okay, you're coming up. That's it, and you can either just stay here or you can come up and over. Just be careful, those of you with disc issues, if you know that it's popping out to one side, you don't want to overstretch that side. So just keep the side stretched small. Everyone else, if it's just tight muscles, it'll be safe to go into this. Good, so pressing through the hand, lifting up, up, up and over, and deciding where feels good for your head to go. Then press through the hand, come all the way up. Good. And then just coming back to the center and around. That's it. Keep reaching the arms away from each other. Breastbone, chest. Good. And then gently untwisting and relaxing through the shoulders. Okay, just to finish, we're coming forward onto the mat. And we're going to come down, just a last bit of stability for the legs. So bending through the knees. Let's go hands on hips. More weight in the heels. That's it. And from side on, we want to make sure that we're not arching too much or tucking, finding the neutral. And then you're just going to gently pulse down and up and breathe. If you think of breathing in for 5 and out for 5. Now, the more weight you have through the heels, the more you're going to get into your bum and the back of the legs, which is key for the lower back support. So weight in the heels, toes are light, bending a little bit deeper. Imagine you've got that band around the knees and push out into the knees so that your knees aren't collapsing inward and you're working again more from the side of the hips rather than the front of the hips and lower back. Keep breathing, a few more pulses. Good. Chest is forward and out. And then gently come all the way up. Good. Give the legs a wee shake. And then we're going to finish again lying on the back. Nice, calm breathing. relaxing the eyes and the jaw and the throat. So just taking time again to let everything compute. You can stay here for as long as you like. And if there's anything you feel like your body wants to do while you're here, you can go into it or just keep settling down. Okay, and we're all done.